presentación. Good evening, welcome. We're going to begin the press conference. Please have in mind that we do one question per intervention. Buenas tardes, comenzamos la rueda de prensa. Recuerden, una pregunta por intervención y antes de identificarse con su nombre y el del medio.
Hola Jude. Victorio Calero en directo.
Hi Jude. So tomorrow, it's going to be a classic game tomorrow of the whole of Europe, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Do you think that the current Liverpool side are one of the most informed sides on the continent?
Yeah, I think that's clear, good evening everyone for a start. I think that's clear. Obviously they're top of the league in England and I think top of the Champions League standings at the minute as well. So I think it's clear to see how good of a team they are. They've got players who have kind of come to a new level, some of the younger lads and then the more experienced lads who have been world class for a long time. So it'll be a great test but a great game and still confident.
Hi. What would Bellingham say? They're saying Real Madrid, with all their injuries, they're going to be conceding quite a few goals and struggling tomorrow because of all the injuries and players out.
Yeah, that's what you guys might be saying. Inside our dressing room, inside our bus, everything, we're confident. We've had injuries before and we've managed to pull through. I have complete trust and complete faith in the squad that we have. All the players can make an impact, whether it's from the starting 11 or from the bench. And historically, whenever players have had to come in, they've always performed really well. So no worries about that whatsoever.
Hola, Jude. Dario Araujo.
Perdona, yo voy dando el turno, ¿vale? Vamos con Martín. Ok, Diario.
The other day, the Leganés game, that was probably your best performance of the season. You played a little bit further forward, a bit more like last year. Do you feel more comfortable in that part of the field and not being stuck out on the field, on the out wide? Did you feel more comfy against Leganés?
Yeah, I think it was a good game. I think I played well. Obviously, I think the goal maybe clouds the stuff a little bit in terms of my other performances. I think when I look at my performances this season, I'm really honest when I review them and I think they've been of a good level. I think the difference is that they probably don't make the headlines because of the goals and things, which I understand. I set a high expectation from last year and I have an expectation to score goals, but I think even so far this season when I haven't, I've still managed to perform at a high level in games. The game the other day was good. The position was a bit more fluid than I've played in sometimes this season. I'm certainly not a wide player, I think that's clear. I play my best football when I'm free to roam and especially in the middle of the pitch and long may it continue.
Hola Youth, hola, ¿qué tal? Olivier Lorenzo del País.
You've played in a few different roles this season, different places on the field, positions. How have you experienced that and how are you settling into this new Real Madrid since the arrival of Kylian Mbappe? How have you seen things yourself during this settling in period for the new players?
Yeah, it's been like any kind of adaptation to a team. Players have left, great players have joined, and it changes the dynamic slightly of how maybe we want to play or the formations we'll be playing, and the positions of certain players I've always shown that I can play in multiple positions because of my skill set, and I'm happy to sacrifice for the team when it's needed. I think it's clear where I prefer to play, but I still don't mind in terms of whatever the manager wants me to do. I don't think the arrival of any player, Kylian, for example, in your question, has affected that at all. We set up to try and beat the opposition. I'm put in a position that the manager believes is the best position for me in whatever game to have an impact on that game. I think Kylian's been absolutely great coming in. I think he gets a lot of criticism and it's a bit over the top for me. I think if you look at what he's contributed so far, it's really good, and it's scary because I see him every day in training and I know he's only going to get better. In terms of him coming, I don't think that's been the reason why I've changed positions. You know, like you said, we've had a lot of injuries as well, and things you got to adapt to in a game and in a club and in a team.
Jude, it kind of follows on from the chat about yourself at the moment, because obviously after the game against Ireland, you put out that you'd got your smile back in an England shirt and you're very grateful. When and why did you lose that smile? And was it purely at international level, or was it to do with club form as well?
No. I think, like I said, when I've reviewed the games, I felt like my form has been okay. Well, pretty good, to be honest. I just haven't been scoring goals, and that's not the reason why. I've got to be honest, I think I lost my smile a lot after the Euros when it came to playing for England because of, I don't know, I felt like I was a little bit mistreated in comparison to what I contributed. I felt like some of it was a bit harsh on me. I think I felt a bit like the scapegoat. Maybe I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself, and I think that camp with a lot of new faces really brought out the joy in my game again. I think you could see that in the two games, but in general, I hadn't lost my smile in the Madrid shirt. Obviously, I'm annoyed when we lose, and I get frustrated and I get upset when we lose, but it's never a case of not being happy. You know, I'm the luckiest lad in the world. I get to play week in, week out for the biggest club in the world and represent my country. So yeah, I think that was more to do with a little bit of how I was treated on the back of the Euros, but yeah, smile is back.
Hola, Jude.
I wanted to ask you, one of your teammates in the national side and a friend of yours, Trent Alexander-Arnold, would you like to play alongside him in the next season?
Well, I'll be playing alongside him next season for England anyway, hopefully, so that will be a guarantee. But you know, he's a Liverpool player, and I think it's disrespectful, especially to come to his home today and speak with a huge game tomorrow, to speak something that could be misconstrued or anything like that. So I think it's important to take that kind of pressure off him, and obviously he's a really good mate of mine, and I want him to do really well. Normally, obviously not tomorrow night, but we'll see what happens. But like I said, he's a Liverpool player.
Hey you, how are you? Joel Del Rio from Marca. I'm going to try in English if you want it.
Oh yeah, nice.
I would like to know if you are the most important thing of the team is the adaptability. We have seen Valverde playing as a midfielder, also as a winger the last game. You can play also in many positions, but I just want to know if you are really happy in that position, because the last 4 games, 2 with the national teams and 2 with Real Madrid, it seems like you are happier now than ever. So I just want to know if you have talked with Carlo Ancelotti about that.
Amazing English, my friend. I think, I speak with Ancelotti every day. You know, I have a good relationship with the coach. Like I said, I've filled in positions to make sacrifices just like other players have. I think it's highlighted a bit more because, like I said, I've not scored as many goals. But I think you look at my all-round contribution in other positions, I feel like I can still affect games. But I know where I'm most effective. I think I've relayed that to the coach. But also, just like Fede, just like Kama, Aurelien, we're a team of many players with a broad skill set, you know, where we're quite complete. And so when it's necessary at times, we have to fill in positions because that's what our squad does. And, you know, the injuries don't help. But I definitely know where I'm most comfortable on the pitch. And also it's my responsibility the way that I interpret a position as well. I think if I'm put into a certain position, it's my responsibility to try and maximise it as well as I can and not let that be an excuse for me. So yeah, whatever the coach asks me, I'll do it, and I'll try and do it to my best of my ability.
Jude, just to follow up on the smile back on your face question, you said you felt like you were maybe a scapegoat for the Euros. Could you maybe expand on what exactly you felt? Was that the media putting pressure on you, or what was it?
For me, pressure's not a problem. I understand that playing for Real Madrid, the expectations are going to be high for me wherever I go, even if it's with the national team. And you know, I felt like I contributed some pretty big moments, and in the end, it felt like the kind of whole world was kind of crumbling down on me after the Euro, especially after the 3 days following the final. And you know, it wasn't a nice feeling. There was a few things that happened during the tournament. I think one of the big criticisms of me was that I didn't speak to the media. I didn't want to do any press conferences, and I think that was reported in a way that made it sound like I think I'm above it. It's not that at all. I had some personal things going on where journalists had gone to go and see members of my family whilst I was at the tournament. Went to visit my grandparents, and it's something I've kept to myself. And I don't think that's fair. I think that crosses the line of respect. I think that's where, for me, I took it a little bit personally and decided that I'll just focus on the football and try and let that do the talking instead of talking in the press to people that seemingly don't respect me. That was a big thing for me. I think my family comes first. My nan didn't want to leave her house for the whole summer, bless her. So I think maybe I should have communicated that before so people understood my situation, but that was a little bit more personal to me, and that's why I decided just to keep my mouth shut.
Hola, Jude. Ahora sí, Darío Araujo para Caliente TV. Lamentablemente ayer nos enteramos de la lesión de Vini.
We were unfortunately found out about the injury to Vinny. He's one of your best mates in the dressing room. How is he? How's the group without him? Ahead of a big test, and the fact you're taking on this test without him.
I've said it before. I think Vinny's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. So when you get so used to having a player of that presence and that magnitude on the field, of course it's a big hit when he's not there. But like I said, I have full faith in the other players that we've got who can step up in those positions. Obviously, I get on with him really well. He was a little bit upset that he couldn't travel and contribute to the team like he has done on so many big nights for us. But it's our responsibility now as players to each take more responsibility and step up in his absence.
Jude, aquí José Padilla, defensa central. Hace un tiempo se habló aquí en esta rueda de prensa.
There was talk a while ago that Bellingham might sign for Liverpool. And in the end you decided to sign for Real Madrid. So was there talk? Did you ever hear any talk about going to Liverpool a while back?
Yeah, I think it probably wasn't as close as a lot of the media made out. I had conversations with a few clubs on leaving Borussia Dortmund. I made that decision. Then they gave me permission to speak to a few clubs. And one thing I have to say is all the clubs that I spoke to were very respectful of me and my family, which for me is a huge value and something that I really respected. So I don't want to say anything that sounds disrespectful to them. But when Real Madrid come knocking on the door, it shakes the whole house, and it's one that you can't. It's hard not to open and accept. So I think, like I've said before, it's not a fact. It's not a matter of the other teams weren't good or they were bad when I spoke to them. It was just that Real Madrid are on a different level.
Hola, Jude. ¿Qué tal? Juanma Sánchez de Radio
Hi, Juanma Sanchez, Radio Nacional. Congratulations on being the best player in the league last year. Goals aren't the most important thing. Ancelotti has also said that we're not as demanding of you in scoring goals because we've got Mbappe to score as well. How important is the manager Ancelotti in your work day to day and in games?
Yeah, thank you very much for the first bit. Yeah, like you said, I think I arrived last summer. The club lost arguably one of the greatest goal scorers of the generation in Karim Benzema, and I think there was an approach to try and help recover those goals in a different kind of way. We signed me, Joselu, Brahim, and I think collectively kind of covered that hole. And this year, we've signed one of the best players of this generation, and he's someone that's obviously scored an amazing amount of goals. So as a team, we expect him to do that. And for me, I know that my role then differs, which I'm happy to do. I'm a team player. But I also want to take that responsibility of now I've got the smell for it again in these last couple of games. I want to take that responsibility again as well. And, it's always nice to contribute with goals as well as playing well. And as for Ancelotti, he's a big impact on the whole dressing room. I think his calmness, his a chilled demeanour, it kind of radiates around the changing room, and that's why on nights like this we come in and we're very relaxed regardless of what's going on around us.
We're going to do two last questions for Jude. Dos últimas preguntas.
Hola, Jude. Aquí izquierda.
Hi, mate.
You spoke about criticism in England after the Euros and moments when you've not been scoring for Madrid. You got third place in the Ballon d'Or, and Vinny all the kind of adding all that together, is that giving you a new challenge? The fact that is it kind of is it a new challenge? The fact that Madrid got second and third place in, even though they won the Champions League, it's almost like you've got to bang on the table again and say, look, we're Madrid and we're going to do well this season.
I think, when we won the Champions League, that was our Ballon d'Or. That's the highest thing you can win as a club. That's for us, the team being recognised as the best team in the world, us being the team to beat in Europe, if you like. And for me, that's probably enough. I don't think too much into the Ballon d'Or stuff. There was a lot of talk about it. Me personally, I think it should have went to someone of Madrid. Particularly Vinny. In my opinion, I don't think Rodri's an unworthy winner at all. I think he's an amazing player. I just felt because of the season we had as a team that it was it would have been reasonable. But what was the first bit again? Sorry, where you said about criticism or something like that. Oh, about the new challenge. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I was talking too much. I lost me mind. Criticism's part of the game, and I know how to accept it. But when it feels personal, it gives you, like you said, it does give you a bit of a new challenge to continue to shut people up. I think it's something that I've dealt with since I was very young, coming into the first team at Birmingham, when people aren't quite sure you're ready. You take those little things and you try and use it as motivation. But like I said, it's not something that I'm really worried about and things like that. I understand it's part of the game.
Última pregunta, last question.
Hola Jude, ¿qué tal? Miguel Ángel Toribio en directo para Radio Marca.
In the last two games against Osasuna and Leganés, we saw a solid team, not leaving any gaps between the lines, more working as a group. Why do you think that's been a difference in respect of other games, in comparison to other games? Has it been a change of attitude or a change of tactic?
I think when you go through a tough moment as a team in football, I think it forces you to have those honest conversations about what you're not doing well enough. And I think one of our problems, maybe we weren't doing the foundational things as well as we possibly could. And I think in these last two games, what I've really been impressed by as a team is that attention to detail of the small things, and we'll always have players that can win us games and things like that. But I think that attention to detail on having the right attitude with and without the ball is what's really taken us to that next level in these two games. And yeah, it'll be important to show tomorrow night as well. They're a huge team, obviously a massive game, and it's the bare minimum, I think, for us to show our fans here at Anfield that we can put on a right face and we can get a result.
Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you very much, mate.
We'll begin now the press conference with the coach. Please remember to identify yourself, and it's one question per journalist. Comenzamos ahora con el entrenador. Recuerden, hacemos una pregunta por intervención y antes de identificarse con su nombre y el del medio.
Hola, mister. Victorio Calero en directo para Real Madrid Televisión. Mañana se enfrentan el Real Madrid y el Liverpool, o lo que es lo mismo, 21 Champions, 21 Copas de Europa sobre el césped. ¿Cuáles cree usted que son las claves para este partido? Gracias.
Un partido que va a ser un partido muy entretenido, como siempre ha sido Real Madrid y Liverpool, dos clubes históricos de esta competición. Cada uno tiene sus características de equipo. A ver, que tiene el carácter, la personalidad para imponer estas características. El Liverpool siempre es un equipo muy competitivo, muy peligroso. Lo era lo era con Klopp lo es también ahora con el nuevo
Currently
entrenador.
with the new manager, they're just as dangerous and just as entertaining. Could I just ask about Vinicius' injury? At the end of the game, it seemed like he was okay. He had a run in the last few minutes of the game. How is he? He's injured. Got injured towards the end of the game.
No es que es tan importante cuando se ha lesionado Vinicius, lo importante es que se ha lesionado.
It's not so important that Vinicius is
Lo
injured.
importante es que recupere pronto
He gets well soon, he recovers quickly.
y pensar en los jugadores que lo van a reemplazar.
Think who is going to replace him and who will be featuring in the games in between time.
Hola, ¿qué tal, mister? Javier Ray de la cadena SER. Se ha hablado de si por qué Mbappé jugó menos.
We were talking about why Mbappe played less minutes and Vinicius played the whole game. This happens in football. Whether they played for the national teams earlier in the week. What do you think about whether that influenced the injury?
Pienso que oigo muchos consejos.
With a lot of advice
Pero
today.
creo que no hay que olvidarse que he hecho 1.300 partidos, he hecho 1.300 alineaciones, he hecho casi 4.000 cambios. Y creo que nadie aquí me puede dar consejos en este sentido.
Andrés.
¿Qué tal, mister? Andrés Rubio de Televisión Española. Yo quería preguntarle.
I wanted to ask you, you've said on various occasions that you're still dreaming of achieving lots of things. We're struggling, we've had a lot of injuries, a tough calendar.
Yo estoy bien, como está bien el equipo. Creo que los últimos dos partidos han salido muy bien. Creo que hemos encontrado un buen nivel de juego, somos más sólidos, tenemos buenas sensaciones y tenemos la misma confianza de siempre también para este partido contra un rival que es muy exigente, que está jugando muy bien, pero tenemos la confianza, la considero una gran oportunidad para nosotros, para volver a nuestro mejor nivel. Y tengo confianza total que va a ser un gran partido. Y después, pase lo que pase, pero el equipo va a ser competitivo mañana, por cierto.
Valverde played at right back in Leganés. And after Carvajal, Lucas said that he's one of the best fullbacks. Is Lucas going to play? Or will Valverde
la verdad es que Valverde lo ha hecho muy bien, yo no tenía ninguna duda.
I don't have any doubts about him in that position.
Pero era una emergencia en el partido, porque no tenía laterales, ha vuelto Lucas. Que ha mostrado una buena condición en el entrenamiento de ayer. Hoy tendrá un otro entrenamiento. Es una opción. La posibilidad de elegir cuando en vez en el partido contra Alavés no la tenía.
We didn't have that chance to play either of them against Alavés.
We're about halfway through this new league phase in the Champions League, and there was a lot of talk before the season about how it affects teams and team selection. Obviously, games like this. One of the big changes in terms of having a game like this early in the season. I just want to know if your opinions have changed on the league format and how you feel it's been took in from your side, but also the club side as well.
Well, I think we have to wait a little bit because it's a new competition. You change it. This phase of group is a little bit different to the other. So. Talking about the game of tomorrow, I think it still be a fantastic game, important game. We have to make points. This is the truth. We have to be able in this 4 games that until the end of this phase, we have to try to reach the more possible points to be in a good position at the table. I don't know if we are able to reach the first 8. It could be good, but we lost 2 games, and so will not. Be easy, but we have to try to make points.
Carlo, good to see you back on Merseyside.
Thank you.
Obviously, a lot of the talk around Merseyside.
Can you name and media outlet?
Oh, sorry, I'm feeding from Sky Sports. But a lot of the talk around Merseyside has been of the future of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Are you able to tell us how concrete the interest is in Trent from Real Madrid? And aside from that, you said to me before the Champions League final in Paris, tomorrow is a derby. Is that again how you feel about this game? And if so, why do you still feel like that?
I'm sorry, but I cannot think about Alexander-Arnold. He's not my player. But I have a good memory of Everton, of course, but I consider Liverpool, as usual, with a lot of respect. It's a fantastic club, fantastic supporters, and so. But I'm still an Evertonian.
Atrás, behind, right there.
Hola, Carlos. Buenas tardes. Miguel Ángel Díaz de la cadena COPE. He notado
I've
molesto
noticed.
con esa respuesta que ha dado antes. Y igual que hace...
No, molesto, no.
No, were you a bit off with the other reply? No, I wasn't, no. Footballers need to be responsible when they are, and know when they're tired. I wanted to ask you, if Vinicius was feeling something when he was playing, should you make him stay on the field, carrying on playing?
De momento el jugador es muy profesional, muy serio, cuando innovar, esquiar lesiones para intentar de jugar. Los jugadores que han vuelto del equipo nacional lo hemos valorado, evaluado en los días antes. Hemos tenido un día más para recuperar porque hemos jugado domingo. Vinicius como Valverde me parecía en buen estado, en buena condición. Y punto. Después, a veces pasa que el jugador se lesiona.
Sometimes players can get injured during games, even when you've prepared and know that they were fit to start off.
¿Por qué? Lo sabemos todo, el por qué.
We all know why.
Porque hay demasiados partidos.
Because there are too many games. That's why.
Liverpool and Real Madrid have met many times in the Champions League over the last 2 years, including a couple of finals, but Liverpool haven't been able to win any of those games. Obviously, the two teams are expecting to be in the latter stages, but do you think a win in this game can influence it if perhaps you do see each other in the later stages again this season?
I think it's an important game that every victory gives to you more confidence and more belief in the future, of course. Liverpool did really well until now, better than us in the domestic competition. But now we are back and we hope to play a good game tomorrow with a strong rival. But I think for the future, it's too far. The end of the season is too far. And hopefully, we hope to be there as usual.
Hola, Carlos, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas. Fernando Burgos, Onda Cero. Has dicho que no sabéis muchas veces por qué se lesionan los jugadores.
You don't know why players get injured quite often. This season we've had 11 muscular injuries. It's a crazy fixture calendar.
Sí, también hemos tenido 7 cruzados.
I think that, we have had muscular injuries.
¿Cómo se puede hacer para evitar esto? Es un poco complicado pensarlo. Creo que
it's a bit of a complicated thing to try and
difícil,
think
no
about.
es un problema de Real Madrid, es un problema
It's
general.
not just a problem for Real Madrid, it's a general problem for football. Other teams in Spain, in England,
un montón de lesiones.
they've got a high amount of injuries.
Entonces creo que cada uno a su manera maneja estas cosas con distintas cosas, distinta metodología, pero lo que no cambia son las lesiones. Entonces tenemos que aguantar con esto y pensar nosotros, intentar de pensar como el año pasado. Las lesiones han sido una gran oportunidad para ser mejores. Creo que no es un caso que las lesiones contemporáneas de Militao, de Lucas Vázquez, de Rodrigo en el partido con Osasuna han cambiado un poco la dinámica de este equipo. No es una casualidad.
Changed the dynamic of the team. I don't think it's a coincidence the fact that we've gone off form with all these people out.
You had said a few weeks ago that you had found a solution to the team's problems, and obviously in the last 2 games the team has looked much better, and Courtois and Lunin haven't had to face a shot on goal, so you've been able to limit the transition opportunities. Jude earlier was saying that it's the attention to details that have made a difference. So I'm curious to know what you think those attention to details are. Is it a matter the team had more control? And is that something you can replicate against a better team tomorrow?
I think the difference was that we were able in the last 2 games to play with more compact together, with the collective effort, sacrifice, and that was, I think, the key. It will be the key tomorrow and also in the last games, the next games.
Two last questions, últimas dos preguntas.
A Carlo, aquí, Daniel Quedano para Bernabéu Digital. Yo quería preguntar por Raúl Asencio, porque leímos muy bien contra...
Asencio in the defence, I think he did well against Leganés. Is he up to the Champions League, the biggest competition in Europe, in a ground like this, which is really tough to come to? How do you think
Bien, veo un jugador maduro, con personalidad, que no lo veo demasiado nervioso, siempre muy bien focalizado, lo ha hecho muy bien en los últimos dos partidos. Estoy cierto que lo va a hacer bien también mañana.
I'm sure he's going to have a good performance tomorrow. I think he'll perform.
You mentioned you're still an Evertonian. The club have had a few problems since you left a few years ago. Did you envisage what would happen at Everton, and how much do you hope for the future of the club to take over?
Of course, I follow Everton, what happened with the club, with the result, but call me tomorrow after the game and I will talk to you about this.
Thank you.